Hi everybody and welcome to the Paleo PI. Today we are very lucky to have a special guest on the show, Eileen Laird. Eileen, as most of you would know, is the author of the Phoenix Helix blog and also of the relatively new A Simple Guide to the Paleo Autoimmune Protocol. Now, on today's show, I'm going to ask Eileen a couple of questions about the book. In fact, what we're going to do is we're going to ask her 5 questions and we're going to get her to answer them in under 5 minutes. So that's our challenge to you, Eileen, and welcome to the show.
Cool. I'll try and answer in more than one word.
Great. Sounds good. I want to firstly say before we duck into it, like just what a quality book you have produced here, Eileen. First thing I want to say about it is just the presentation. It struck me, the font is large enough so your eyes don't strain. The headings are really large so you can flick through and pick parts of the book that you like. So you can see that here. And the wording is very clear. So a lot of folks that embark on the Paleo Autoimmune Protocol have brain fog, might have cognitive issues, and I feel like you've really nailed writing the book to that audience, Eileen. So well done.
Thank you very much. That was definitely the goal.
Well, you definitely nailed it. And the second part of this is going to be a giveaway. So to everybody that's watching for the giveaway, please do listen to all 5 questions. I'm going to ask a question out to you about one of Eileen's answers from the 5 answers she gives. And the instructions to all of that will be in the post that I post along with this video. So Eileen, are you ready to get started?
I'm ready. This sounds fun.
Good.
I feel like I'm on a game show, like the AIP game show.
We're just missing the lights and buzzers. If only I'd thought about it, we could have set that up.
I know.
Okay, all right, let's do this. So the first question, Eileen, is what was the most enjoyable aspect for you about writing the book?
I think just the fulfilling aspect of getting a resource out there that I really felt was missing and that I felt was needed. And it was actually on my mind to write, I think, ever since I started the autoimmune protocol, because I wished I had had kind of a simple guide that summarized everything you needed to know, that you could just get started, and an easy reference to go back to. So I'm one of those people, probably like everyone out there, that you can have a lot of goals and it doesn't mean you achieve all of them, but when you do, it's really exciting. So just getting it done and feeling happy with the finished product.
Yeah, and as I said at the start, I mean, you should definitely be happy with the finished product. It's a great book, and I mean, another great thing about it is people can just take it with them from A to B, the people that are starting out on the protocol, and indeed, I've seen photos on social media doing it. So well done, but we'll continue on. The most challenging aspect for you in writing this book, Eileen, what was that?
You know, it was keeping it as simple and concise as possible, because when it comes to autoimmune healing, as you and probably everyone watching knows, it's complicated, right? It's not like there is necessarily an easy answer that's exactly the same for everybody. And so what I needed to do with this book is provide people with, okay, what's the essential information they need as a foundation to get started on their own journey? That was really my goal. Provide them with enough answers to the questions going through their head, the whole, why am I doing this? Like, why should I believe you? And why am I doing this? And then how they could also answer the question, how will I know if it's helping me? So giving them enough information for that without going down a rabbit hole of too much information. And when I say that, I think like your listeners also know about the paleo approach, and that was very helpful for me. That was out there. So what I kept saying to myself, anytime I felt like I was saying too much and it was time to edit it down, I just thought the paleo approach is available for anyone who wants all of the science, all of the detail, that reference textbook, which is beautifully done by Sarah Ballantyne on their bookshelf. And that my goal with this one was the portable guide you could carry with you, that you didn't have to read 500 pages to get started.
No, that's great, and that's a very good point you make too. You know, this is an excellent companion guide for Sarah Ballantyne's much larger encyclopedic, The Paleo Approach. And just getting back to what you said about brevity before, we have this saying at work, I think it comes from a famous writer a couple of 100 years ago, and we're trying to remind ourselves to write shorter, and he said, he was writing a letter to the friend, and he said, "I'm sorry, friend, that I wrote you such a long letter. I didn't have time to write you a shorter letter." So I'm sure you can relate to that saying a lot.
That is awesome. Yeah, absolutely. There was a lot of editing down, thinning out to make the book as short as it is.
Okay, third question, Eileen. Just being wary of time. What's one thing that you learnt writing the book that you didn't know before?
What did I learn? Well, I must say I know the AIP inside and out. So I didn't necessarily learn anything about the AIP. You know what I did? I learned that I could write a book without getting sick. And I say that because a lot of people in the paleo community who are authors will tell you that they got really sick when they wrote the book, and they almost think of it as a sacrifice for their readers. And I knew going into this that that is something I absolutely did not want to do, and frankly wasn't willing to do, and also didn't think was necessary for me to do. One of the things I want to teach the AIP community is how to take care of ourselves. And we all, I shouldn't say we all, because that's generalization, but a lot of us are caretaker personalities. We're helpers. We're used to putting other people first. I am no exception to that. And I think an important part of healing is stopping that cycle. It doesn't mean you stop caring about other people, but you really need to take good care of yourself. So that was also a goal of mine, was to do this in a way that was healthy for me. And I did achieve that.
Yeah, congratulations. And I'm glad you hammered home that message, and that leads nicely onto our next question. But just want to highlight for everybody how awesome Eileen is. Before this interview started, I asked Eileen if she wanted to have the questions spontaneously or if she'd like me to let her know what they are, and she opted for spontaneously. So hopefully this makes it a little bit more fun for everybody. And as we go into the next question, Eileen, I'd love to know, you talk about obviously writing a book is a big time commitment, and you're running Phoenix Helix, you've got a job outside of all of this. How did you manage to keep to AIP principles and maintain your health while writing this? Did you have a ritual, a routine? Could you just elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, well, the one thing I did, let me see. I think it's really hard to do it in a healthy way if you're working under a publisher's deadline. And so I purposely did not do that. I purposely decided to write my book and pace myself, and then decide how I wanted to publish it when it was all done. So that was step one, and that allowed me to be healthy because no one else is breathing down my neck saying, I don't care what you got going on, I don't care how you're feeling, we have a deadline, we have the printer waiting. I think that's part of the pressure. And then the other part is when you add work to your life, something else is going to have to go because there's a limited number of times you have in the day. And so I would say to people is you have to let some other work go. Otherwise self-care is going to go. So what I was able to do is I was able to cut back a day a week at my day job because my blog is making some money now. It's not like I'm getting rich off my blog, but my blog is providing some financial support for me to do stuff like this, which is wonderful. So I cut back a day a week at my day job and spent that day a week working on the book. And that allowed me to keep all my self-care pieces in place.
I really like, really like that message. And it can be a little difficult for a lot of bloggers in the community and authors, especially as a lot of people are type A personalities, and what drives them is that sense of accomplishment and achievement. And I like how you've published this book, but you haven't sacrificed your health at the same time. So there is a way to, achieve your goals and look after your health. The fifth question and final question, and it's probably going to be difficult to answer in under a minute, but we'll give it a shot.
I'll try.
So Eileen, you've tried a couple of different healing protocols before. I know that you've been on the GAPS protocol before you found AIP. Why would you recommend the paleo autoimmune protocol to somebody over another protocol, say, such as WALS or GAPS?
When I say that, this going into it, well, actually, let me say, if someone's just starting, I often say start with paleo first and then go to the AIP if paleo is not enough for you. What I like about the AIP, though, is it's very holistic program. And so it does talk about the lifestyle pieces. It talks about the nutrient dense pieces, and this book kind of covers all of that. And there's a troubleshooting section. So it's kind of a broad way of telling you all the different ways that you might be able to affect how your autoimmune disease is expressing itself. The WALS protocol is kind of similar that way too. She really focuses on lifestyle and nutrient density, so I don't think that's a bad way to go. And there is some overlap with the AIP. The GAPS diet, interestingly enough, I still do some GAPS principles, so there's some good information in there, but overall, I think it's missing a lot of pieces. And when it comes to troubleshooting, it's really hard to find information. And it does seem like most people with autoimmune disease, in terms of just numbers, are doing better on the AIP. So that's why I would say start with what is working best for people. And then you can use things like gaps and walls to tweak your protocol for you. How'd I do? Are we under 5 minutes?
I think we are at 5 minutes right now. So congratulations on successfully accomplishing the challenge. Achieved another goal there, Eileen. You're just knocking them off. You've got a book, you've done a 5-minute webinar. What I want to say is thank you very much for coming on the show and talking a little bit about the book and the process behind it, and just, you know, hammering home the point about, you know, looking after yourself, even if you're going after your goals and your dreams too. I think that's really important. Could you briefly tell everybody how they can find this incredible book?
Yes, so it's available on Amazon.com or Amazon whatever is your country where you're living, and it's available in paperback and Kindle. And if you have trouble finding it there, you can go to my blog, which is phoenixhelix.com, and there's a picture of the book right there on my homepage. You can click it, and it will take you to more information.
Perfect. And I'll post those links in the show notes here, so people can just click directly. Couldn't be any easier. So with that, guys, thank you very much for watching, and be sure to follow the instructions to enter the giveaway. One copy to 2 lucky people anywhere in the world. So watch out for that. Stay awesome, and we'll chat soon. Thanks again, Eileen.
Thanks, Rory. It was fun.